Good morning and happy Easter. Welcome to online worship with the First Parish of Sudbury Unitarian Universalist. There's a button below this window that enables you to receive this morning's order of worship, so please click on it to follow along. Our meeting house has been a gathering place for our evolving congregation for over 380 years. To ensure the health and well-being of our members and friends, we have moved online for the time being. Even though we are not gathering at the meeting house, we hold it in our hearts and minds as it is an anchor to our commitment and faith with one another. Wherever or however we gather together, we endeavor to create a space where all are welcome, whether one is a longtime member or if you just found your way here this morning. Each and all of you are encouraged to safely bring your whole self to this virtual gathering, all of your respective beliefs, identities, gladness, and sorrows. Leave nothing about yourself behind. We are so happy that you're with us this morning. You, my dear friends, are most precious. So this morning, as we gather in love, we gather to support one another, and we gather with compassion for all. Even though we are not sitting side by side in the sanctuary, let us know that we travel this journey of courage, hope, faith, and love together. This morning's reading was written by Reverend Gretchen Haley. Someone has to be the one to go first. When the seas are stubborn and the ground and the sky are giving us only gray and gloom, someone has to see the spring that's just below the surface. The crocuses about to launch, the green and the brown grass, the path that's about to be made clear, the freedom that's calling after the leap, the leaving behind, the letting go of everything you ever knew and anything it meant to live. It takes a reckless sort of dreaming, a courage you'd usually shrug off, like it belonged to old tales of escape from Egypt or emperors, like it belonged to someone more powerful, more official, someone less filled up with grocery lists and bills to pay, marriages to manage, and all of these justice reports to read. We come to link arms, to claim a call that is collective, believing we can go together, hold each other into the deep in this journey for justice and liberation, trusting we can sing, not just at the end, but the whole way there, feeling in our bodies this promise of something more beautiful being born. We come to remind each other we were always this brave, that we've had all we need to walk this way the whole time, that we are the ones we've been waiting for to say to each other, let's begin now. Come, let us worship together. Please join me from right where you are in our unison chalice lighting. Please feel free to light a chalice if you have one or if you've created one along the way. If we lived in another climate, our souls might speak other languages, but our souls speak spring. We gather to nurture our faith in our own growing, our own courage to push through, our own blossoming in beauty. This morning's reading is called a Easter meditation. Eternal Spirit, we witness bringing green growth, throwing out tiny tendrils, seeking support, sprouting thin twigs, reaching for the bright golden sun, guiding new tubers, seeking water in dark sandy soil. Be in and amongst us this Easter morning. We gather this morning to celebrate the triumph of life over death. The body can be killed, but the spirit cannot be quenched. Only yesterday had we given up all hope of promise of the coming divine realm. Today we are renewed and inspired as we realize it is now already here. This morning we remember that pain, suffering, and death are not ends, but can be scary underground passageways to more abundant life. If we have the courage to face our fear, crawl through to be pushed and pulled by the mind-narrowing forces of lust, hate, and confusion. This morning, we renew our dedication to act from our love rather than our fear. We renew our faith in the inherent dignity and worth of all humanity, including ourselves, which cannot be removed from anyone. Seek the nerve to face the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, which may come our way. In our moments of defeat and surrender, may we turn away from the paths of revenge, denial, and cynicism. May we remember the eternal truth spun into the web of life. Our wounds can become sacred, incarnational teaching of the wisdom embedded in the story of resurrection. Let us celebrate together this morning the one who never gives up, even in the darkest night of winter, our blue-green planet, Earth, resurrected anew each spring. I just want to thank everybody who's been working on the music and pulling things together. It's really made a huge difference to have music that was actually sung by the First Parish Choir. So thank you, choir, for all of your wonderful work over the years. We're definitely benefiting now to have recorded all that music. So thank you. This Sunday in the Unitarian Universalist calendar is a lot like Christmas. It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Some are fond of this holiday, while some feel disconnected and treat it as any other day in the year. Then there are others who feel an out-and-out revulsion to the religious aspects of this Sunday. That's us, Unitarian Universalists. Resurrection is a word that makes many UUs shudder. And yet, every time I hear the word, I think of the phoenix rising from the ashes. If you've ever fallen or failed in your life and then stood up, brushed yourself off, and began again, the phoenix could be your totem. It is mine. The phoenix is an image and a myth that comes from ancient Greek folklore. It is a long-lived bird that cyclically regenerates or is otherwise reborn. Its plumage is stunning in reds and yellows and gold and orange, as it is associated with the sun. Phoenix obtains new life by arising from the ashes of its predecessor or previous self. Some legends say it dies in a show of flames and combustion. Others, that it simply dies and decomposes before being reborn. But most accounts say it lives for 500 years before rebirth. I have a phoenix rising out of a chalice on my stole this morning. It was made for me many years ago and means so much to me. Reminds me of the promise of rising from the ash that we each have the potential to know and accomplish in our lives. I've reclaimed the word resurrection, thus it is less knee-jerk for me. But it took me time and reflection about how this concept of resurrection could be useful to me in my life. I do not take resurrection literally, that one comes back from the dead per se, but metaphorically, that we are reborn or changed as to seem different than we once were. We each have the potential to survive, thrive, and to be changed in amazing ways. You may believe this, or you may not. It's up to you. Our congregation is made up of so many different beliefs that focusing on Easter alone would be a disservice to the members who are humanist or atheist or agnostic or Buddhist or Hindu, questioning and so on. We have so many different people of so many different ilks. Yet there are Christians among us. For them, we remember Easter. This is our Unitarian Universalist practice, to be with one another regardless of what overt message I may share with you, to find that kernel of wisdom that speaks uniquely to each one of us. I say this because, as one might imagine, it can be somewhat perplexing with regard to what to share on this Sunday. As I explained last week, I have really tried to re-embrace this Holy Week and to create meaning in it as a time to honor and remember those difficult moments in our lives, those dark nights of the soul, and remember that when all is said and done, that we have the potential to survive within us. And maybe if we took the time to dig deeper, reflect more, we could even gain some wisdom and or meaning from these moments. With this in mind today, we have arrived at a place of celebration, a place of survival, a place of wisdom gained. Time to sit back, breathe deeply, and relax into being okay. Think of what you have filled your time with. What are those moments that you will carry forward? What is the knowledge that you have gained? Now, moving forward, we are within the grasp of spring. I'm excited about that. May Day, think of the pagan Beltane. It's not that far off. We dance the dance of the maypole. With our moves, we weave our intentions with ribbons for all good and positive things. We turn the wheel of the seasons ever on. Our forebears saw this time as a time of setting intentions, returning the soil, planting seeds, getting ready for a long season of activity ahead. Today is the beginning of a celebration of survival. We have time yet to understand and embrace this reality. Make it our calling, our goal, make it our own. This time is intended to be a time of plumage. Take a look at all the birds out there, frolicking with joy and purpose, feathering their nests. They take what comes next in stride or in flight. Historically, if you're of European descent, it is believed that the Germanic goddess Ostera brought the spirit of light each year into the form of spring to the world. Accompanying her was a rabbit distributing a whole lot of eggs. The rabbit symbolized fertility, and the eggs held the potential for birth. Clearly, these myths of spring and the pagan celebration of the return of the sun to the northern hemisphere are as valuable as any of our beliefs might be. On this Easter Ostera Sunday, let us wonder, are our beloved beliefs based on fiction or fact? Will we ever know which is which? And does it even really matter? What we believe is what we believe, after all. What is important is the meaning that is held within the stories that we have incorporated into our lives. How those stories give us wherewithal to carry on. The possibility and mystery of rebirth and resurrection from the dark night of the soul, to rise like the phoenix in kindness, compassion, and love. The Buddhist monk and teacher Thich Nhat Hanh once shared that redemption and resurrection are neither words nor objects of belief. They are our daily practice. We practice in such a way that Buddha is born every moment of our daily life, that Jesus is born every moment of our daily life. Usually we come dressed in our Sunday best on Easter. We may wear fancy hats and come to the meeting house and endeavor to knit together our various traditions and rituals. Or some of us stay at home, have a big brunch with family and friends, or there's always the opportunity to do both. Clearly this year, things are different. We will not travel, and our family and friends gathering may be smaller than usual. But the meaning that we make in these moments may be more profound than it ever has been in our lives. As we pray for those who work and care for so many who struggle to survive, we celebrate and eat and love what we love about this life. But in many ways, it is bittersweet. Jesus rose, but he was so changed that Mary Magdalene did not recognize him. Imagine what it might be like to live into these new lives that we have been granted, changed by these times, allowing ourselves the opportunity to not be afraid, but to live more fully than we have ever in the time or ever had time or flexibility to do so since we were children. That is what Easter brings us. A reminder that we can begin again in love. Last Sunday, Palm Sunday, was also a time of elation. Between then and now, there has been a story unfolding becoming intense and scary and dangerous and terminal at times, becoming mystical and hopefully once again culminating in joy. That is the reality of life. We live, we love, we serve, we stumble, we fall, and we begin again. In all of this, happiness comes to us in our ability to feel deeply, to enjoy simply, to think freely, to risk life, to be needed. To risk life. That is what it means to truly be alive. Resurrection to me is to wake up to that realization that risking life is what it means to be truly alive. Many years ago, I stumbled across composer and choir director Eric Whitaker, who had an amazing idea to create a virtual choir in 2010, 10 years ago. He risked everything on what many would have thought was a ridiculous idea. However, his gathering of voices from near and far, from places all around the world, is an example of what it means to wake up, realize that we're each part of a greater living, breathing whole, even though we are not living right next to one another right in this moment. The virtual choir is a tangible example of the concept of being truly interconnected regardless of proximity, an exemplification of our Unitarian Universalist web of all existence, found in our seventh principle. This morning, during a moment in isolation, I'd like to share a snippet of his first virtual choir video with you. Whitaker demonstrated global interconnection. Here were people sitting in their homes, just like we are right now, able to truly participate in the creation of something larger than themselves. Hundreds of people from around the world. The potential to do such a thing was mind-blowing to me in 2010. But it's truly not easy. We all know about the inherent latency with singing music over Skype or Zoom, and they had to adjust for all of it in the final video. But even so, one can feel the energy moving around and through all those who were separate but still gathered virtually. And thus, and those of us watching regardless of distance and difference, time and space, we have the potential to realize our deeper connection cannot be stopped. It can open us up in ways that we have never imagined before, if we dare to risk, to connect in new and different ways, just like we are doing right now. That type of risk-taking does it require us to realize and awaken to what the sages, ancient and contemporary, are speaking about, to know us by our kindness, and our love for humanity. On this holiday, I'd like to offer that we do not need to self-identify as any denomination to participate in a community of faith and love, two things that we so desperately need right now. The potentiality is all around us, just waiting for us to wake up. French poet Paul Valéry once wrote that the best way to make your dreams come true is to wake up. My message to you this Easter Sunday is simple. Let us open our minds and our hearts to all that the world has to offer us, even during times such as these. Put down your burdens. Take up the cause of resurrecting your life, the lives of those around you who need a message of hope, a message of compassion, love, and faith. We live in a time of reason without the scientific ability to prove the miracle that is life. We see life as a mechanism, something to be fixed or upgraded, but not as a mystery. There's something lost in that way of being that we have the opportunity right now to wake up, to let go, to embrace. Being open to the mystery held in this moment is the vaccine that will cure us from what truly ails us. I imagine someday off in the not so distant future, a physicist somewhere will uncover the essence of spirit, chi, energy. We know it now as the God particle, and that it will continue to be quantified and qualified. But until then, we have the good fortune, the luxury actually, to believe that spirit is ineffable, pervasive, and essential to our survival. What will we do with such an opportunity that we have right now, where mysteries still exist? I hope that we will choose to embrace these moments, cultivate them, share them in whatever manner that we are able. Rise like the phoenix, over and over again, inspired by our connections, virtual or not, called forward into a place of being reborn to all that is unknown and possible right here and right now. I invite you to take a moment in silent meditation and prayer. Happy Easter and Ostera, my dear friends. Please enjoy this truly glorious, mysterious, transformative day as safely as you are able. My love is always with you. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. First Parish is financially sustained by annual pledges, fundraisers, donations of time and treasure, and with this, our weekly offering. Please be generous if you are able. Online offering is available in two ways. Both are located in your order of worship, and they explain how to do them. You can click the offering button below, or you can text your offering to the number that's in the order of worship. We thank you for your generosity. Now is a time when we turn to extinguishing our chalice, and I invite us to do this in unison. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you for gathering with us for online worship this morning. When we are meeting online, we'll be offering the opportunity to gather to share milestones and announcements directly after, as is our tradition, the postlude. After the music stops, please click the coffee hour button below this screen next to the order of worship and the offering buttons, and you will be moved into a Zoom room for our rest of our service. Let me share with you our closing words. Good and loving people, our time in worship has come to an end. So I bid you to go in peace, speak your truth in love, and give thanks each and every day. Live simply and approach life with an open heart and open mind. Let your faith not your fear, be your guide. So may it be. Blessed be. Amen.